Dave, let me go to you right now, because the fact of persecution, clearly something that's clear, we know that. But as I said earlier, when governments get involved in actually persecuting their people, but the only thing that can stop that are other governments. And to a large extent, the U.S. government has probably had as much to do with stopping persecution in countries that have persecuted their people more than anybody, perhaps, in time. And just 2 days ago, Governor Sam Brownback, was approved just narrowly by the U.S. Senate to become the first ambassador at large for religious liberty. I think this is one of his issues as well. But speak a little bit, Dave, as to what governments can do, what our government through policy can do to help limit and stop the degree of Christian persecution we're seeing around the world.
Thank you. The first thing I would say is, remember, we live in a democracy, and so if we expect our government to take the right actions, we ourselves have to be educated. So my recommendation to everyone is take the time to understand Islam. Even if it's just a little bit, even if it's in bits and chunks, don't avoid the subject. I think one of our great problems in this country is people know it's an unpleasant subject and they just avoid it like the plague, but that self-imposed ignorance basically makes it impossible for our leaders to make the right decisions, because we're either electing the wrong people to lead us or we're not holding them to our principles, because we're not even aware that those principles are under threat. With that in mind, I have a newsletter called Islam Update, and if you contact this station, say you'd like to subscribe to it, just do that, and the word will get back to me, and I will provide that with you. And it's simply current events throughout the world with regard to Islam, and you can just see it in yourself from news reports, not from me, from reports from the news, and you can form your own conclusions. The other thing we can do, as far as our leaders are concerned, is beware of entanglements. We keep trying to turn Islam into something that it isn't. And that case that I brought up about Afghanistan in 2006, the most significant thing about that guy who was caught converting to Christianity and was put on trial for his life and was ready to be killed, but through last-minute actions, he was declared insane and sent off to Italy. The key thing to keep in mind is that all took place under a government that we helped establish. Now, how the heck does that happen? The other part of it is the practical extermination of Christianity in the Middle East, largely in Iraq. That didn't start with ISIS. That started when we came in and took over Iraq. And the key point there is trying to set up democratic institutions doesn't solve the problem if fundamentally you have a people that want to be governed by Sharia law. You just get a democratic version of Sharia law, which essentially is what we have in Iran. Okay? And so that is so important.